Okay, let's get started here. So, thanks everyone for joining this week's community spaces. Definitely a lot to talk through. Want to see, again, if anyone wants to hop on stage, this is just a chill, informal session. Folks can come on the spaces, just vibe, talk about whatever. It's an open space for all Cool Cats folks. So the first thing I did want to share was big shout out to Sheriff Carews, and I'll pin the tweet here. Let's pin that. So Sheriff Cruz, one of our cat community members, very graciously decided to upload all of the community spaces and actually timestamp them and put them on YouTube. So we've got like an archive of all of these going forward, which is super awesome. Very proactive on Sheriff Cruz's part. So thanks so much for that. That's going to be awesome to have those recorded. And then I know that Sean, who is the VP of Community, reached out to me this morning. She had some personal unforeseen circumstances, which totally made sense why she couldn't make it today. She feels very bad about this, wants to come back onto a future spaces to make up for it. So we'll give her some time to work through some of the challenges that she's working through right now, but excited to have her back on later. The other thing is, thought we'd just go through some of the town hall updates, talk through it, get folks' thoughts, and then also talk about NFT NYC and any other items that are on folks' minds, whether it's Milk Sync and things like that. So the first item, founders town halls are moving to a bi-weekly schedule. So they're going to be every other week going forward. But it looks like Ken Cron is going to be in attendance at the next founders town hall. I personally think that's awesome because Ken's been like that mythical creature that's kind of lurking in the background that no one really knew was involved with Cool Cats or not. And his like background is insane as the former I believe CEO of Activision. So his involvement is going to be huge here just to be able to share. I'm really hoping he has a chance to actually talk and kind of share his thoughts on Cool Cats as opposed to just being in the audience, but we'll definitely wait to see. I see Horn Dog joined. Let me throw an invite out there. What are folks' thoughts, Zupa, Polly, Horn Dog, anyone on just the Ken Cron coming to speak at the Founders Town Hall next time?
Man, I think it's huge. Like you said, it's been this like, giant mythical beast just lurking in the shadows for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's really, really good, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, same here, right? I mean, we've been kind of waiting to see what he had to say for a while now, and it looks like it's happening before NFT NYC. So, I mean, couldn't be more excited just to kind of hear what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I think what I'm interested in is like, one, why is he involved in Cool Cats? But two, like, what does he actually do for the team? Is he like, what does it mean to be like a background advisor or someone on the board? Like, how involved is he? So I'm hoping they address those points.
I also believe they said he was also an investor, right?
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, he is an investor, which brings a question like, are all the board of directors folks investors, or is it just Ken? I have no idea on that point.
So curious too, what who all is on the board and exactly like what they're all, just between the founders and the board, how they're going to operate from, super curious on that.
Yeah, I think the board comment or finding out about the board was like super eye-opening for a lot of us. I'd imagine that they have to be responsible to some degree in choosing the next CEO, but beyond that, I'm also curious just what kind of decisions are they responsible for, and what decisions do they make outside of the founders making the decisions?
Yeah, I wish we had like a VC guy up here. I wish my guy Spencer was here, but I know a little bit about company formation, and it's likely that the board is like the 4 founders and the investors, including Ken Cron, whoever the quote unquote investors are. That's likely what it is. And then depending on who owns what stake in the company, there could be other board seats that we don't know about, but that's just, pure speculation.
Totally. I'm hoping we have a chance to do some Q&A and grill Ken Cron or just like the founders a bit when that topic comes up at the next
I definitely am curious the extent to which Cron or anyone else on the board has been really involved with the direction of the company. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like in particular whatever our guy Skiz is up to could be in part influenced by somebody with background at Activision and who knows something about building games and how to hire in that industry too. Because I know Skiz like has a whole team under him. So whatever's going on there that we don't really know about with the Coolverse, that seems like where some of that know-how and like network might be useful.
Yeah, Skiz building a mainstream game while people on the board have experience in mainstream gaming feels like there's some natural connection there, probably. I think the other thing is just like on the topic of, well, I guess to close out that point too, I can't think of any reason why the founders wouldn't be or shouldn't be going forward transparent about like what the board does and what their kind of responsibilities are, just as the community is curious about it. I don't know if there's anything preventing them from being super secretive about that. I feel like there's only upside in sharing some of that information and creating more confidence as well too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Although I will say, right, like there's a contrast here. Like obviously Yuga has done nothing but kill it, right? But like nobody even really knew they had a CEO until she went and did an interview.
Totally.
And people didn't really know that A16Z, I mean, we definitely don't know what the ownership breakdown is, but A16Z likely owns the lion's share of Yuga. And that was just something that was like a rumor for a while. So there is this weird, like, I don't know. Obviously it sort of comes with controversy for the Cats team and people just looking for accountability more than you might be if everything was just like smooth sailing. But I don't think that's like the kind of transparency people look for from every team. But just sort of comes with the space.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not interested too. I just mean like, what are we really going to hear that's that much different than just like hearing a clear accounting of what their roadmap is and what they're trying to accomplish, like, in the next 12 months or whatever.
Yeah. The next piece transitions, since we're talking about gaming. There was a point in the town hall notes that said substantial updates coming with more utility for items and cats. Obviously, we've been hearing that for a while. I had one of our community members, 0x Ernest, like message me this morning, and he was like, "Hey, I found some interesting things, some alpha going in the Polygon test net." And he found some things in the contract which seemed to be interesting. And some of the things he found were around specific cat related gaming. So cat questing more specifically. But instead of cats questing for milk, it looked like that cats would be able to quest for items. So you guys heard it here first. Some behind the scenes potential gaming alpha based on Polygon testnet. But I thought that's going to be interesting. I know we've heard it for a while, but what does it mean for cats to actually take part in the Cooltopia game? This might be a direction.
That's great. I didn't know that he found that earlier. I just think it's going to be so interesting coming after all this FUD in the beginning of the year. I think they're really just going to take all these different channels and all these different tentacles that they've created and kind of start building off them. There's not many other projects out there that have this kind of like, I mean, obviously a lot of us are biased, but it's this each piece could be like a little excitement in of its own. You know, they have delighted us before. You know.
Horn Dog, wasn't this something we were like, speculating on months ago? That you'd be able to get items from doing quests and such?
Well, yeah, they had, man, I thought, if I remembered correctly, like, I thought that was going to be like, oh, you might get a bonus, an item bonus when questing with your fully evolved pet. And then
Yeah,
cats,
I totally thought that too. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? And one of the things they used to tease for cats is like, oh, maybe fine, your cats can't quest for milk or anything, but they're going to have other unique skill sets potentially, which at the time I thought was like, Tom had talked about this idea of like, and not that this is precluded by cats questing, but Tom has talked about like, oh, imagine your cat's like a blacksmith, and that might be something only certain tiers of cats can do. And to me, the idea is like, okay, well then you need to go out and get some items, and only like cats with the right roles can then make other items out of those items, and maybe that's still something that's coming, but like doesn't actually make sense to have all the functionality for until like battles are in and all that kind of thing, because that's the kind of thing that reminds me a lot more of just some of the games out there, the RPGs out there, where you're like, okay, you start with your wooden sword or whatever, and then you've got to collect X, Y, and Z and take it to the right spot in order to craft, a better version of that. So, like, I still kind of think that's where they're going to end up, but that's probably, iteration, whatever, of the game once they finally launch battles and stuff. But I don't really have an expectation at this point of exactly when to expect that. If that's like a Q4 goal or a whatever goal,
Yeah, I think like so what we've gotten teased with this like testnet thing with like cats questing. We know that the big boss and the battle thing's been teased for a while. There's stuff you're talking about with like roles and things like that. I'm just hoping again, like whatever rolls out, all these sequence of little games, like that they contextually make sense around like the story of Cooltopia. Like why are pets battling? Why are cats able to quest? Like what is this all about? Like why are they doing the things that they're doing? If they're able to tie that together, then I think they're going to be successful. Why are there even big bosses? That'd be great, but it would be in my mind a miss if they were just like a series of like very like very adventurous type games that didn't really make sense when you put it all together.
For sure, I think that kind of plays into the IP thing too, right? It's like how much can they build just on the cats, and potentially, maybe the different characters Clown was talking about wouldn't have happened if the community wasn't upset about some of the direction they were taking. So it's like, hopefully you're right, like the game and some of the battles and all the bosses and this and that ties in to help build IP, to help get that launched.
Totally. Hawkward, you there? You got any thoughts on the game? I know you've always been very vocal about the game.
I'm just kind of being patient, and I do agree we need like a lot of ways to burn milk. I was kind of surprised that wasn't like thought out ahead of time, really, because when you launch a token, you should like really make sure the like tokenomics are sound and it's not gonna like create like this huge inflationary problem we have. So I'm looking forward to seeing like what happens when more features are rolled out, and maybe it comes to a little bit more of an equilibrium. I've been like sitting through some growing pains with Zedrun for over a year, so like I'm pretty patient. I'm willing to like wait and see what happens. And like, yeah, there's going to be rough parts, especially with running a blockchain based game. But it was funny to me on like the first week, all the FUD that was coming down. It was like, y'all need to manage your expectations because this game is actively in development and you're not going to get perfection on day one.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see that a lot of projects. Even today, like the big news was Wolf Game, which was supposed to come out in Q2, got announced as getting pushed to Q4. And I mean, you kind of see the same thing playing out that it happened with Cool Cats, right? It's like you have one faction that's like, FUD, sell everything. I'm not gonna wait till Q4. You have the diehards that are like, hey, I'm staying, I'm picking up deals, things like that. But yeah, the blockchain gaming, it's not easy for anyone. I don't know anyone that's able to launch it. And it's probably not going to be easy for other side as well too. It's going to take them time too. So we'll have to see.
I kind of think to that point and what you were saying before, Good Night, about like, oh, you hope it's not just like one disconnected thing after another. Like, my suspicion is that this game, like, I don't know what the timeline is, right? But along the way might continue to be a little choppy, but like once it's actually all built, will really fit together quite well. But it's sort of just, it's like at that point, like, you know, you'll just see what the engagement level is. Like that's my strong suspicion, that you'll have a couple things where it's like, okay, stops and starts, but at the back end, you really have a full cohesive system that all works together and has like gameplay elements that play off of each other. Because, you know, you can, I still in my mind can see the model of eventually getting to some version of a blockchain based, like, you know, Animal Crossing or whatever, right? Where you have crafting, you have all those elements, but maybe it's still a little bit more broken up, where it's like, okay, you can walk around Cooltopia eventually, especially if it connects to quote unquote Coolverse or like has the same kind of functionality. But then like you enter the Badlands or whatever, and that's where you go battle your pets. And I don't know what the storytelling is, like you said, of why your pets will be battling, but maybe they're not battling each other. Maybe it's more like a Pokemon style where you're out there and that's where you encounter other things. And that sort of turns into what questing is now, you know? But it is one of those things I think, like, not any one of those things will probably take some time to complete. So it'll be after the fact when everything's together where you're like, oh, here's a full game. It just actually took some time to put that all together.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? Just to add on that, maybe, you know, maybe I have too much faith in the team and I'm biased, but I also kind of think along those lines. Like, I feel like they've been planning a lot more than we're seeing, and I think it's just this like battle of trying to get it out and get it functional. And I even with the tokens, I do remember Tom saying that they had their tokenomics like plans audited by, I believe, two different companies. Now I don't know who those companies were and how reliable that really is, but you know, I think the double milk, I mean, really hurt it. But I still feel like they have a lot of plans, you know, that are hopefully going to balance this thing out. And like you're talking about, you know, within a few months or within a year, it'll become a lot more clear, like this vision that they have that they're working on. And we're just seeing that small part of it, you know?
Yeah, I personally think, like, honestly, the token problems, I think, are basically just, you can audit all you want, but if your presumption is a certain level of activity and then it doesn't pick up, it's just sort of like good game. And I think that's just like a confluence of, you know, whatever FUD around the project, people maybe evolving some of their pets, but then like losing interest in doing more because it's taking them too long. Like some of those things that I've heard, like, I don't have time to come and do this and do all the clicks every day, yada yada. And so once you get that happening, like, it's just hard for the token to survive if people aren't coming to use it, basically.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually another thing I was going to say. It seems like after kind of the hype died down, a lot of people stopped using the token or stopped evolving their pets. And I think they were counting on that burning more probably during this time.
I wonder if a lot of those too are people that, got on the whitelist and got the eggs. I wonder if maybe some of them weren't necessarily in tune as much with what they're going to have to do. But yeah, I'm just wondering how much of them kind of fell off after the delay versus the excitement of being involved in the community initially. I'd be curious, something to think about.
I suspect there's also a lot of people who hold like plenty of eggs who have evolved some, because there's still only been like whatever it is, maybe like 30%, 1/3 kind of have been evolved. And some of that and it's not like, listings for, especially for just like pure eggs, are that through the roof. So I think some of that is just like people having the eggs, but either evolving them one at a time, or just like, we heard from Farouk last week, and I've heard other people say this, where it's like, yeah, I have a bunch. I'm just sort of sitting on them because I don't have the time to get around to it. I have all the milk too, but I would still have to go like buy the items or do the questing, and then be there every day, 10 days in a row to interact with my pet. And for some people, it's just, they just don't have the time because they've got their 9 to 5 and whatever other commitments.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear that they were working on that solution for people to almost instantly reveal their pets. Because, yeah, I know it took me a lot of dedication to hatch my eggs, and the reason most of mine are unhatched still is not because I don't have time. I have plenty of time, but it's because they kind of tease that there might be future types, and also like you can't unhatch an egg, so there's that whole like unwrapped or unopened Pokemon card. Sorry, Sia just followed me, so I'm freaking out. Yeah, that like unopened pack of Pokemon card element that you like, it gives it a premium. So people might be, hoarding the eggs so that as more and more eggs get hatched, the supply of eggs dwindles and they become more valuable based on the pets. But, I want to see all those like one of ones.
For sure, that's such a great point. And I've always been so fascinated by just the low listing amount for the cats and the pets, and it's always been that way.
I love that the team brought up the accelerated pet hatching. I feel like, dude, Horndog, that was you, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be huge.
I mean, I'll take all the credit. That's fine. Yeah, please.
Yeah. You get the milk royalties. You get a portion of it. It's written into the smart contract. Let's go. Other milk update pieces. So starting June 15th, we moved back from a 2x to a 1x for milk generation. That'll be interesting. I don't know how much that's actually going to impact things. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I think it's good. I mean, it's all about, adding all these little different things to, reduce milk. The more little things we add, the better it'll be.
So what do you think of, and again, I'll cite my friend Spencer, like, what do you think of the idea that they ought to just set a max amount of milk?
I think that totally should be the case. There should be a max supply, just like with, yeah.
What do they do? Because I know you know this, Good Night. What do they do for wool? And wolf
they have a max. Yeah, they have a max supply. I forget how many million or billion it is, but they've been very clear on the set amount, and they take delight in any opportunity to burn it, which becomes a game in itself. It's like they're obsessively deranged in how much they love burning wool. So, but yeah, it's a fixed amount. So there's always that excitement of like, when I'm burning it, it really is decreasing the total supply.
And but it's decreasing like the notional future total supply, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because it still like prints until
Correct.
a certain date, probably. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Just so I understand.
Yeah.
Do any of y'all remember in one of the town halls, I forget who said it, but someone on the team mentioned that they were getting like the tokenomics reviewed by a third party and it all looked good. And yeah, I'd be like curious and getting like the details on that.
Yeah, that's what Paulie was talking about, right? Or Kyle, whoever mentioned that.
Yeah, I forget the company's name. I have to go back and dig through the posts, but I think I don't know if honestly don't think they were reviewing like the tokenomics as a whole, but they were more reviewing like as they're rolling out features like big bosses, what to set certain prices at, what to set certain rewards at, so that as they start building out new features, are they doing it in a proportional, balanced way in relation to something like, pets questing? Like what should be the ratio there and what should be the dynamics there? So that seemed to be that company's specialty.
Yeah, I think it was an audit on like the in-game economics, not the tokenomics of milk.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the last milk update I have here is 400K milk for NFT NYC Cat Projection. So that's shared in the spaces here. I thought this was an awesome idea. I know some folks, there's some controversy about whether it was a good idea or not. I'm all for unique experiences across NFTs, especially in the Cooltopia universe. And I think this is like a perfect example of a unique experience that's super specific, that's super rare. And yeah, you're going to have to fork over a lot of milk for it. But I think someone did the math here and is like, if all the spots sell out, then something like 15% of the milk supply gets burned or something crazy like that, which was awesome to see as well, too. But I'm just curious, did anyone take part in this? Anyone, what are folks' thoughts on this?
Oh, I snap spent it as soon as I could. Easy decision. I need the horn dog up in lights in New York City. I missed out on Times Square last year. I need some brand awareness.
It was such a great idea. I wish I had the milk. I would have done it. I got randomly selected last year, and it was sweet.
I mean, I had to buy some milk, but listen.
But that's great. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna go buy some buy some milk. I'm gonna go.
I'm going to New York too.
Yeah,
this is my first IRL NFT event. I've been in the space for like a full year now or over that, and it's just like, okay, like I can spend a couple $100 to get the horn dog up projected, whatever they're gonna do.
For sure.
Let's see it. Let's see what's up, guys.
What's funny is the price of milk within that one day went up around 10%. Obviously, it's still like at a 0.001, like very low, but it did go up after that announcement. So I found that super interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's funny what demand for the token can do, right?
Yeah, who figured? What were other? Does anyone not like the idea of the spending a ton of milk for these kind of in real life experiences?
I'm just pissed it wasn't like 5 million milk. Should have been more, maybe. Other than that, it's good.
Well, then you'd only have Psyduck spending for it.
Yeah,
we would just have the one of ones up on the projector.
I think it's great. I do want to know of like I don't know. It seems like some of these milk burning things have limited slots, like the backstories and stuff. So I'd like to see like kind of a more re-rollable like milk burn, if they can just like add something to a website where we can burn milk for some sort of lotto ticket. Like that would be so easy. And it wouldn't be limited. It wouldn't put too much work on the team, you know?
That's a good idea.
I have a quick idea now that you mentioned that, Hawkwood. Like I thought of this idea a while ago. If I could share it real quick, good night.
Yeah.
So okay, so imagine if every time you know, like went to Cooltopia, they had like some sort of wheel, like a wheel of fortune, and it costs like 500 milk. You roll the wheel, and there's one of every element on the wheel, and then there's one blank spot. So, you know, the wheel rolls, and if it lands on fire, you get, you know, 10% bonus to your fire pet for that day, or, you know, something like that, where people can continuously roll it and burn the milk. And then they also have an option to get nothing, which, you know, would require more milk to be burnt. And it also adds like, not like a gambling, but, you know, a little bit of RNG play in there.
It's okay. We're all degens here. You can propose your casino. I like the
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. We only avoid the gambling word to avoid regulations, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
total
really like that.
degen.
It's
We
just
call
like
it
a,
degen.
yeah, it's like a wheel of fortune, we'll call it.
Shout out Bouvet.
Hey, awkward. How are you guys? How are you?
What's up,
Cats.
Bouvet?
Good morning, guys. How are you, man?
Hey.
Good space. We have to keep doing this.
Yeah, keep it going. I gotta know. Did Psyduck, did you get any space? Did you get any cat projection spaces?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, just one. You didn't take up the whole skyscraper.
I think you had to choose your. I think your cat can only be used once, so I didn't want to. My
like,
other cats. Just wanted my demon cat.
That's pretty good. I think it would be hilarious if your demon cat showed up like 6 times on the skyscraper.
It would be really funny.
Just a wall of demon cat.
I was going to ask another thought too. So to answer your question, I think I love these ideas of whatever ways they can implement milk into these in real life experiences. And I don't know, I've wondered this as well with like, you know, with Ape, for example, they price the other deeds at a specific price in Ape. But I've wondered, do you think it would be possible, for example, with like Cool Cat merch at NFT NYC, could you just price it in USD, but you could spend milk and just pay that price depending on what the value of milk was at the time on checkout? Like, would that allow people, for example, like Psyduck, if he has millions of milk, he could go buy as much merch as he wants and just spend as much milk as it costs in USD value without ever having to convert any to USD?
I think it would be a little complicated to do that. Like, we don't actually have the tech to do all that stuff IRL just yet. You know, like you'd need your wallet with you to actually do that, like at checkout. I also think, based on the registration and stuff, like holders aren't going to have to pay for merch in New York.
Okay, sweet.
I mean that's what it seems like to me. I don't know if that's like alpha or whatever.
That's a bold statement. Wow.
That's what it reads like to me.
Cron originally said in the space, bring an extra suitcase if you're coming to the Cats event.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I think for the merch thing, I like 3 points come to mind. One which Horndog touched on, but first point is like, I think the team has always been very conscious that they need to stabilize the price of milk. That's like requirement number 1. They got to like fix the volatility around it to some degree, get it in a good spot before they start like doing some crazier stuff with it. The second one is I think in terms of they do want to get milk for merch. If I look back to like recent tweets with the CEO of Toy Keto, his responses have been, "Hey, yeah, we're working on milk for merch." Like that's in the works. So I think it's definitely something the team is planning in collaboration with Toy Keto. And then third is Horndog's point on like, do we have like the right UX mechanisms today to allow for seamless in real life purchases with tokens, especially these polygon tokens, you know? And Horndog's like Mr. Moonbird too, and that's something like Kevin Rose always talks about, right? Try to partner with Square and things like that to create seamless transitions from like wallets to in real life payments. So those things definitely feel like key factors that need to get sorted out before that thing can scale easily. And then in terms of NFT NYC, I feel like there's a lot to dig in here for folks. Again, we're gonna have Cron on a week after NFT NYC on the community spaces. But the big news there is obviously RSVPs are available here. How did you guys, for those that are going, plan out your RSVP?
I gotta coordinate with people still. I gotta like make sure the people I want to meet like choose the same days and stuff. I don't really like when you have to like pick a day. Like the Bored Apes thing is driving me crazy. So I'll just have to see like when everyone's showing up, you know. And hopefully it won't super matter because there's the like VIP thing for like actual like cool cats. I think so.
I picked the second day because yeah, there's like the VIP thing on the third day. So, what day did you guys pick?
I picked the first day, and with my wallet. I also RSVP'd for the second day without my wallet, just because I might show up for a few hours. But I'm there for like a short period of time, so I think most of my time is going to be there on the first day.
Speak of the devil, we got Kevin in the house.
Yeah, I'm planning on going on Wednesday during the day at some point, and Thursday I'll be there for sure as soon as they let us RSVP. That I'm really excited about because I think the event, like going will be really cool, and obviously people will organize and go together, but you're kind of just going to go and like experience it. The holders event, hopefully like everybody will be there so you can kind of just like kick it finally.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'm getting a lot of messages from like even non-Cool Cat holders that are trying to get to this Cooltopia event. So I think it's going to have a pretty diverse turnout.
Kevin, will there be catnip at the VIP event?
It's going to cost you some milk.
And then I'm going to post some of these links too, just some things that we saw recently. First one is this fur is lava. So it says, looks like you'll have to watch your step at the Cooltopia NYC. The fur is lava, which seems like it's some smaller event within the experience. And then there's another one here, which is the Captain Tepnu knows the location of the treasure island, but he needs a crew to go with him. Be wary, though, the trip is dangerous and the water's treacherous. I thought this one was awesome because that animation's like so cool.
It's
and
clean.
Yeah, it's like
clean.
more of that. We need more of the
for
kind
real.
of
I want that with like
to bring things to life.
I don't
And
know
then-
why. The right animation when we've seen it has looked so dope, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more of it out of the team.
Totally. But I think these are two examples of, I guess, one, I'm hoping like huge world building, like it's starting to bring things to life, and it seems like this whole Cooltopia event is going to make things feel more cohesive in terms of the world of Cooltopia, but also like these little events seem. I like the teases. I like these teases a lot in terms of. I kind of wish that and hope that as like the new gameplay comes out, we see teases like this as well too. This is like the kind of hype and marketing that we need from the project. What are folks' thoughts on these? Did anyone have a chance to see the Tepnu thing?
It would be cool if it's like one of those wild wipeout obstacle courses over water and you got to like run, and that would be crazy.
Yeah, what is that? That show is literally called Wipeout, right?
Yeah, it's like Wipeout, something like that. Get slammed off the thing with a tennis to the face.
Everybody walks out of Cooltopia like soaking wet.
Yeah.
Everyone has to sign like a waiver before walking
Right.
in.
The free merch is a Cool Cat towel just to like get dried off afterwards. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect. I do think it's notable, right? Like they're partnering with Shopify and Toketo for this event.
Are they
So,
really
like,
with Shopify?
yeah,
Wait, really?
yeah.
I didn't know this.
Wait,
I'm
doesn't
pretty
Shopify
sure.
accept crypto payments? Maybe they will accept Milk.
Let's see where I saw that. It's like it's at the bottom of one of these pages somewhere.
No way, really?
Right now, when I'm
Wow.
looking at NFT, if you go to nyc.coolcats.com, at the bottom right now, all I'm seeing is Tokaido, and Cool Cats. But I swear I saw a page earlier where it also had Shopify. Maybe when I was on my phone. I'm gonna have to take a screenshot now.
I feel like you were on the Doodles NYC page or something, bro.
You think so?
No, I don't know. I mean, Shopify would be awesome because they were a great partnership for Doodles, definitely. Anyone else up on stage going to Cooltopia? I know FOMO is going to hit hard. I'm going to try to be capturing a lot from that event and sharing it. So hopefully anyone not going gets to feel like they're somewhat within that space.
Yeah, I'll be there. I don't know what days yet.
You going to your are you throwing an unofficial WAGDIE event, Cedric?
No, I think that might be too gruesome. Everyone just dies.
You're like, the New York mortuary is where we will hold this event.
Yeah. Kool-Aid will be served.
Oh man, that'll be good. So those are all really the updates from the past week to talk through. I gotta know though, Saida. Like, I gotta pick your brain on this whole WAGDIE thing right now. Can you share with all of us for a few minutes, like, what is this may be an ask to shill, but it's more just like an ask in terms of like, I'm curious on your post recently with like the story elements and the experience that they're building, and what can projects like Cool Cats and other quote unquote blue chip projects that are kind of in that realm, what can they learn from what's happening right now?
Yeah. Hopefully I don't sound like I'm shilling. Whenever I look at projects, it's just purely based on like, interest, innovation, aesthetics, things like that. But I think I wrote the thread around theatrics a little bit ago, and I really, believe in that, where older NFT projects feel like startups or companies, sort of. These other projects that are newer, like Goblin Town and WAGDIE, feel more like Netflix shows or like drama series, like Breaking Bad or those kinds, or like Ozark, where it's kind of like something's gonna happen, but you don't. Something's gonna happen, but you don't know exactly what. It's the suspense in a way, and it's a little bit of the story of like these unique characters, the setting and situation in which you're in. So that's just what it reminds me of, and it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, right? Because you're waiting for the next episode, so to speak, or you're waiting for the next thing to happen. And so that's just generally, the feeling I get with WAGDIE, and it comes with all the of course the goods, but the bads too, where you need to sort of really pay attention, right? Like if you don't watch the show, you're not going to get it. You can't just jump in on like episode 3 necessarily. You kind of have to like be quite immersed in it to really be able to follow all the little nuances of what's going on. But so that's how I feel about those kinds of projects. Now, what WAGDIE is doing that's cool is they're just doing all these little things that people normally don't do. It's not even like, I wouldn't call it even super innovative, it's just things that people take for granted. Like, for instance, playing with royalties as a lever to drive behavior, right? Like, no one really changes royalties ever. They just changed it, one day and made people wonder why. Like, why did that happen? And tie it back to the story. And to me, that's fascinating because it says that, like, oh, something based on these monetary, aspects of the collection could change based on what's actually going on with the story at a high level. Or they're playing with different mediums, like obviously the texting medium, but also the audio medium, right? Like, I don't know if you guys have listened to any of those recordings, but like they're clearly hiring voice actors and they're writing scripts and like there's a whole lore and it's really immersive and there's sound effects and um, they're pulling out the stops for it. It's not just a guy talking, right? It's like a whole, it's like a thing. It's like a production. There's production value to it. Um, I think there's something psychological about like getting people to burn, like willingly burn an NFT with no expectation of anything in return. Like that's fascinating to me. Um, and so there's all these little aspects that they're playing with again that like normal collections or project owners, in my opinion, are not thinking about, and they should be. There's like so many levers that I think projects should be playing with. I've actually I was brainstorming a few, but for instance, like let's see, like lockup periods, like can like time in which the NFT can or cannot be transferred. Prerequisites, like do you have to own NFTs or did you have to own a previous NFT or have done something? The mint order, like what order you actually mint something in, the time in which you mint something, maybe something else happens. So like there's like so many different things that people play with, but people just take that for granted, right? Like, oh, you doesn't matter what time you mint something, you all get the same thing, or like yeah, like again, like there's just so many different things, and they're just thinking outside the box, which I really like, and maybe it's because there's no devs on the team, or maybe because it's just one guy, but like sometimes sometimes like brutal constraints like that can really breed innovation and creativity, which I really like. So that was a long spiel, but they didn't even talk about the art or anything. The art is also dope. The story is cool. Lots of other cool stuff about it, but I think that's what's sort of making it unique.
I love that. I picked up one the other day. Horn Dog, did you? I think you did too, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah.
I'm having fun following it.
Yeah.
I voted to go west this evening. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I chose West as well too.
I did not burn any though. I know Psyduck did.
Yeah, I was I was like the fifth or sixth person period, like total to burn one. So that was always that was crazy. I was like, are we doing this, guys? All right, let's do it.
I guess so.
And then I burned a second one like way later. So I burned two total.
So do you get anything for burning them, or is that still TBD?
It's now been hinted that the first, I think 21, the ones who like burned in order for the mutant ape to burn, it's been sort of hinted that they may get something, but we don't know yet.
Gotcha.
You just get cred from her.
That's all that matters in this short mortal life that we have.
Can we get okay? So do you think Cron can come up with like a god or goddess of Cooltopia, and then we could burn milk like in the the goddess of Cooltopia's wishing well or something, and I don't know. And
I think this is how fringe religions get created.
I mean, even
like Disney, come on. You guys
I was gonna say, even like Moonbirds, how those witch hats and wizard hats are getting, the David Blaine show. Like, no one, like, Cool Cats could just pick random traits that cats already have and like give them special things. Like if you own a hot dog or if you own any Cool Cat that has like food item in it, you get free food at the event. Like that's an idea right there, or whatever. I don't know.
I like that.
Just small perks like that,
Yeah, for real. I mean, let's give out some Squirtle shades. Like, come on. It's well past time. They can be the $5 version, but those need to exist in physical form.
I think one thing, said, like you mentioned that like WAGDIE is doing that's definitely interesting. That I'm wondering if Cool Cats can do is like the week to week the story element. I think the word I think of is like serialized, right? It's like serialized storytelling. Um, so is that something you think like does that work for these other projects? Can we see a world where Cool Cats does serialized storytelling through Twitter, through Discord?
Yeah, they could do like a little side story, like pick a character and create a derivative or something, and have those all the little plan out all the little different pathways in which that story can play out as like a side quest kind of thing, and almost like a choose your own adventure, which is sort of what's happening here, right? It's there's obviously a lot of risk involved with this kind of project because you have to kind of keep hitting it out of the park, right, so to speak, and kind of keep people on the edge of their seats. Serial is a really great word, almost like the podcast Serial, right, where people were like hooked on that show for a little bit, and were kind of just like waiting for the next thing, and then after each episode they talked about it too, and it's exactly the same thing that's happening with WAGDIE, which is like this stuff is happening. This stuff happens. People talk about it right after, and like they're guessing. They're like, "Oh shit! Like what happened to this? What happened there?" People are speculating, and it's just fun. It's just like pure entertainment, fun. But I think for existing projects, I think I would do it more as like a side story or a side quest thing, because then the risk is a little bit lower, and they can also tie it into other bits that already exist with the older or other collections out there.
I think that's super smart. Like, you could do it right away with Lil Chugs or like Beta, right? Kind of take like Pixlet's Beta comics, but
Yeah.
make it, but blow it
Yeah.
out,
Hook it into
and
like
make it
one of
like
those
community led.
million polygon airdrops that are out there, right? That hasn't been in use at all. Like use the map or use whatever, and like use those as little items almost that can play a part in the story, and just like get people guessing. There's like so many pieces out there already that can be used, so it's like why not use it, right? Create something.
Totally. I think whether it's like through like what you're mentioning, Horn Dog with like chugs or things like that, or even it just feels like such good timing with all these new like side characters being introduced and them trying to think through, hey, when we introduce him, we're gonna do like the puzzles and the usual like draw with Cron thing. This could be a total other type of avenue they explore as well when they're launching angry, pissed off Gray Gary. And they're like, what's Gary going to get upset about now? And then kind of go down his angry journey and path to redemption. So I think that'll be hopefully the team hears that and kind of get some inspiration from that. But I think it's been very a ton of fun watching like the WAGDIE piece kind of performance art take wave. It's something that's totally changed the tone of the space in an interesting way. So curious to see what they come up with next. Any other topics you guys want to talk through today? I know that we always try to keep these spaces around an hour to an hour and a half, and we kind of covered the main points, the big ones coming up, NFT NYC, and then just the other milk burn that we talked through. But yeah, Horn Dog, Zupa, what do you guys got anything else you want to talk through?
I don't think so. I'm just starting to get hyped for New York, to be honest. So, I'm planning a little bit, but if people have stuff going on, like, I'm all ears. I don't know what other people's plans are, but I'll be there starting Monday evening probably, and I'll be there through like Friday. So excited to finally meet some people in person.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to compare last year's NFT NYC to this year. It's gonna be interesting for sure. I'm just getting really excited. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's like the calm before the storm. I feel like once NFT NYC happens, it's just going to be. I'm just so excited to think about what we can talk about or what our experience is after that. So that'll be fun, and then we can probe Cron on just how they threw the whole event together. I think one other thing that for future spaces I would love to just get the community's thoughts on too is just I had a post recently just around Klon and kind of his vision and just curiosity in terms of how much of that is being implemented. Like in terms of Klon is the creative director of CoolCats, but what does it mean to be a creative director? Is he empowered to in that role to kind of connect the dots between Coolverse, Cooltopia, all the other IP going on, and how much of this is kind of his collective vision that's being built in collaboration with others? So I think that's a bigger topic to dive into in a future space. But I think that one got some interesting comments as it related to folks just being like, yeah, we got into this, or we're still here because we love Klon, and that's no slight to the other founders, but it's more just like how do we, even from a marketing perspective, promote this artistic vision of like, hey, there's an idea of a cat and it's expanded into a whole world now, and he's got bigger ideas on it. But we'll save that for another time. I think the other thing is next week we're gonna have Skiz on. So if anyone has any questions for Skiz, shoot them our way. Super excited to hear about Coolverse, but also excited just to hear about like what are the games that he plays? What are his inspirations? Because I don't think he's gonna drop a ton of alpha on like Coolverse, but I think through the right questions, we can better understand kind of like what type of gaming he's interested in and where he's found the most inspiration in the past that might influence and shape the game that's about to be built out here. So
we got to catch him slipping though, like a little bit. I need like some alpha from Skiz, like
you
just
gotta,
once.
yeah, I need you to get like creative with the questions. Like, what can we throw out there that he's just gonna like, totally slip up on?
I don't know. We need like a PR consultant to help us design some questions for him. There's not enough journalists in the space after all.
I know. Well, it's a good thing this space isn't recorded, so he'll never know we're plotting against him for next week. But it'll be good. I think Skiz is the one guy where we've a ton of folks have talked with him, but every time we hear from Skiz, it's like a breath of fresh air in terms of like, oh, this guy actually lives in this gaming space. He's got some big ideas, some big visions beyond just the game, but blockchain gaming in general. So excited to interview him next week. All right,
Kev, do you want to drop some alpha now that you're up on stage?
Oh, Kev's on stage.
I am here.
Can we
I
get
will
some New
try and
York
answer
alpha?
one question if I can answer. What question do you all have?
One
question.
question.
Boy.
What
No, okay.
What's the food situation?
That's your question. No. Kev, how big should my second suitcase be when I come to New York?
I would say pretty big, but I think we're gonna have those things online also. I know that we want to do something specific for the people that are there, and if there's stuff left over, obviously it'll go to like be token gated, so only holders will be able to buy it. I think someone mentioned we are working with Shopify, and that's definitely a fact. So we are kind of really reamping our store and all that type of stuff. So we get more like token gated access. I've talked to the team about making double token gating, so we'd kind of do things for the different rarities. Legendaries would have their own item, or Exo 2s and that type of thing, So that's gonna be a cool thing. I think take a regular suitcase. I'm sure we can buy more stuff and get it shipped to you afterwards. That way you don't have to carry too much stuff.
All right, fair enough. I can always wear a couple layers going home too.
Yeah, exactly. Food situation.
Oh yeah, food situation,
Food
and also
situation?
yeah.
There's gonna be food there, for sure. Really cool. Cooltopia eats.
All right. And is the experience going to be the same across all 3 days? So if you're showing up any day, you're kind of
Yes.
getting the same. Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be, just a whole kind of immersive experience. Really kind of set to introduce people to the Cool Cats and give our Cool Cat holders a little breath of fresh air and like show them something really nice and really dope. And then I believe the Thursday night VI Purdy is going to be another event there. And it's going to be a cool little meetup type of vibe, more like an event party. So just come ready with your dancing shoes.
Oh, snap. What's your policy? What's the policy going to be for like walk-ins and things like that?
So pre-registration, like if you're a cat, you're essentially just pre-registering. You'd be like going in a fast pass type of line. Anyone else that's just kind of walking in is going to be in the longer line.
Should be 200 milk at the door if you want entrance.
You want in, you didn't pre-register, 200 milk.
Yep, there we go. Nice
or a milk chug in real life.
I take milk chugs in real life.
That'll also get you in.
It's gonna be fun.
Kev,
I'm super excited.
In the store, am I gonna be able to buy one of those like Cool Cat neon signs you had in Austin?
Oh, down the line, yes, not this time around.
Because that's sure. Like what I actually want to buy.
Yeah, they're big too. I think we're trying to figure out how to like make them more home size. I
only saw photos, but that stuff looks so dope.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I'm stoked on them. We'll definitely have those there, I believe.
Well, that's awesome. I'll at least get to take a photo.
Yeah.
That would be a great milk auction item.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I think we definitely heard it. We're going to see, I think I mentioned in the Discord the other night that I definitely want to see how this goes and see if we can take this like really around the world or so and figure out if we add to it or, make people have this experience. So we'll definitely see what we do with the neon signs, but I know we've talked about like auction them off with milk. So that's really dope. I'm sure we can like include signatures of Elu and Cron and all that. So it's even more special. So yeah, it's been stoked. It's been good times. We've definitely been listening to y'all.
That's awesome. That all sounds like cool stuff that everyone will get excited about. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be dope. I'm excited, y'all. Can't wait to meet everybody.
I'm so hyped. This is going to be awesome.
Let's go.
Go.
You got to extend the stay. You got to come to the event on Thursday night. What's good, man?
Wait, what are coming to the VIP event?
What kind of responsibilities could you possibly have?
I'm thinking of having like a Cool Cat, like kind of like meet up the first day, kind of a grand opening type of thing. I'm sure that's when more people are going to be available and fresh versus later in the week. So yeah, just kind of keep a lookout. I think we'll have like a little meetup at the venue. I'll have some cool stuff for y'all.
That'd be sick too. And maybe I'll just go every day.
Yeah, stop by, meet all the friends there, and then figure out what are you gonna do for the rest of the day. That's gonna be a vibe.
And if anyone can add Kevin as a +1 to Ape Fest, I know he's been scouting to join the other parties.
Yeah,
Moonbird's party too.
Moonbird's party and Ape Fest. But yeah, I'm stoked, man. I'm super excited. I think we definitely like been taking the criticism from the community, and I'm super bullish on Sean coming in and being a part of the team, and they're super dope. I'm super excited to make all these things happen for everybody.
That's awesome. Kevin, thanks for jumping on stage and sharing that with us. I think you just got us even more excited for NFT NYC. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for holding the space, man. I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that that'll conclude our space for today. Again, tune in next week. We got Skiz on. That's going to be so sick. Horn Dog's going to work on questions to slip them up and spill all the beans on Cooltopia. So you're not going to want to miss that one.
I'm calling all my journalist friends now.
Dude, just aren't you a lawyer? Can't you
I'm not that kind of lawyer. I'm like I sit at a computer.
I'm the wrong kind of lawyer for this stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. All right. Well, we'll see what we can get out of Skids next week. But other than that, thanks for everyone for joining the spaces. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks.
We love the
See you,
cats.
everybody.
We love the
We love
cats.
the cats. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, Frax.